Welcome to doassignment-ca. Here is the problem. A car starts from rest at s equals 0 and is subjected to an acceleration defined by the following AS graph. For s from 0 to 300 feet, acceleration equals 12 feet per second squared. For s from 300 to 450 feet, acceleration equals negative 0.04 times s plus 24 feet per second squared, which decreases linearly from 12 feet per second squared at s equals 300 feet down to 6 feet per second squared at s equals 450 feet. Draw the VS graph and determine the time needed to travel 200 feet. Now let us work through the solution step by step. The AS graph has two segments. For s from 0 to 300 feet, acceleration is a constant 12 feet per second squared. For s from 300 to 450 feet, acceleration decreases linearly. Since we only need to travel 200 feet, we stay entirely in the first segment. The key kinematic relationship we will use is AdS equals VdV. Integrating a ds equals VdV with constant acceleration of 12, and starting from rest gives 12 times s equals v squared over 2, so v equals the square root of 24s. This describes a square root curve on the VS graph for the first 300 feet. At s equals 300 feet, the velocity is the square root of 7,200, which is about 84.85 feet per second. For the second region, we integrate the linear acceleration from s equals 300 to s and set it equal to the integral of v dv from v sub 1 to v. Substituting the boundary values and simplifying gives v equals the square root of negative 0.04s squared plus 48s plus 3,600, valid from s equals 300 to 450 feet. Here are the key points on the VS graph. At s equals 0, velocity is 0. At s equals 200 feet, velocity is about 69.3 feet per second. At s equals 300 feet, it is about 84.9 feet per second. At s equals 450 feet, it is about 130.8 feet per second. Both segments form smooth, concave-down curves on the graph. To find time, we use v equals ds over dt. Rearranging, dt equals ds over v. Substituting v equals the square root of 24s and integrating from s equals 0 to 200 gives t equals 2 times the square root of 200 divided by the square root of 24. Simplifying, 2 times the square root of 200 over the square root of 24 equals 2 times the square root of 25 over 3, which equals 10 over the square root of 3, or 10 root 3 over 3, approximately 5.77 seconds. We verify using the constant acceleration formula s equals 1/2 a t squared. 200 equals 1/2 times 12 times t squared, which gives the same answer. The time needed to travel 200 feet is approximately 5.77 seconds. Visit doassignment.ca for more study tools, AI learning support, and online tutoring.